So how do you stay ahead of the competition? Establishing a unique competitive advantage does not mean elimination of competition. In fact, this is always a dilemma for startups. Do you totally ignore competition and keep doing what you do? Or do you pay a lot of attention to them? And the answer is that you do have to pay attention. As the saying goes, the wise learn a lot from their enemies. So you have to be aware of what the happening is, because most of the time when you do a startup, it's not a totally unique new market, because that cannot be the case, because if it's totally new, then maybe it just indicates that there's no demand, emerging demand for that particular solution. So there's already existing players who see the possibility and offer their own versions of the solutions. So what does a startup do? A startup has to do a lot of soul searching before they get started. If you offer exactly what all these major competitors offer, and the only advantage you have is to price it lower, you're not going to win, because you just don't have the resources, you don't have the volume. So there has to be some differentiation. Either it has to be a huge cost advantage, a different use of EUs, a different distribution channels. Something must have changed that gets you this competitive advantage. And as you implement your technology and product and idea, the competitors will continue to announce all kinds of upgrades and products. And every time your response is always, you go back and you look at why you started the company in the first place. As long as that holds true, then your next step is to be heads down and just execute on your idea. For example, in 1990, when we started Cascade Communications, there were a lot of major telecommunication vendors who were already supplying telephone switches to telephone companies. But the vision for Cascade was to actually build the new public data networks. So Cascade was able to come up with products that did data communications better than its existing counterparts, whereas other people, even though they saw the opportunity, they addressed it very tangentially. They took their millions of dollars worth of these phone switches and just put a little data syrup on it. So Cascade was able to offer something that's an order of magnitude more cost effective and also a lot more capable. So once you establish that, and as long as you know what your competitive advantage is, then you can absolutely focus on your execution and establish that competitive advantage and stay ahead of the competition. So I think it's all about not ignoring competition, but really respecting the competition, but very uniquely understanding what your competitive edge is.